Good morning. Welcome to Morning Special. 여러분 안녕하세요. 5월 23일 목요일 Morning Special. 저는 최수진입니다. We live in an era where speaking and listening are no longer the basic forms of communication. New platforms to exchange ideas and opinions have emerged, and their incredible pace of expansion is something we've never seen before. 페이스북, 유튜브, 카카오톡 등 우리는 지금 소셜미디어 시대에 살고 있습니다. 그 정보의 대중성 또는 소통의 편리함으로 이제 우리는 소셜미디어를 떠나서는 살 수 없게 됐는데요. 잘 사용하면 우리 생활에 많은 도움을 주는 소셜미디어가 자칫 잘못하면 개인의 사생활에 큰 피해를 주거나 잘못된 방향의 사회적인 여론을 조성한다는 심각한 지적도 있습니다. 이에 방송통신위원회는 어제 전체 회의를 열어 전기통신 사업자 이용자 보호 업무 평가 계획을 의결하고요. 대표적인 소셜미디어인 페이스북, 유튜브, 카카오톡에 대해서는 올해부터 매해 이용자 보호 업무 평가를 실시한다고 밝혔습니다. 소셜미디어가 건전한 소통의 장으로 제 역할을 하기 위해서는 모든 사용자들의 노력이 필요하겠죠? With that in mind, let me give you a quiz question. Social media services allow you to send messages, upload photos, download music, etc. They also allow you to comment or answer questions. And these are generally known as blank. 1번, replies, or 2번, garbage flies. Social media services allow you to do many things. They also allow you to comment or answer questions. What is this known as generally? 1번 replies, 2번 garbage flies 중에서 골라주시면 되겠습니다. 오늘도 청취자 여러분의 많은 참여 기다리고 있습니다. 여러분의 퀴즈 정답 보내주신 분들 중에 총 5분께 추첨을 통해서 비타민 C 세트 보내드리겠습니다. 또 여러분의 소식과 소감 그리고 방송 중 궁금한 질문 있으시면 보내주세요. 짧은 문자는 50원, 긴 문자는 100원에 샵 1045로 보내주시고요. 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. Okay, then let's kick off today's show with today's global headlines. 세계 각국 언론사들의 어떤 헤드라인이 올라왔는지 살펴보는 시간입니다. Touch Global Headlines.
Several thousand demonstrators gathered to protest the results of last month's elections in Indonesia, resulting in violent clashes between government forces and protesters.
지난달 17일 치러진 인도네시아 대선 결과에 불복하는 야권 지지자들의 시위가 폭력 사태로 번지고 있습니다.
A niece of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad has had thousands of pounds confiscated from her bank account by UK investigators.
영국 당국이 바샤르 알아사드 시리아 대통령 친인척의 자국 내 금융 계좌를 몰수했습니다.
The government unveiled a blueprint to expand its big data solutions and R&D funding in the biohealth industry to at least 4 trillion won a year by 2025.
정부가 오는 2025년까지 바이오 빅데이터 구축과 R&D 등에 연간 4조 원 이상으로 투자를 늘리겠다고 밝혔습니다.
Former U.S. President George W. Bush arrived in Korea yesterday to attend a ceremony to mark the 10th anniversary of former President Nomuyen's death.
조지 W. 부시 전 미국 대통령이 고 노무현 전 대통령 10주기 추도식 참석을 위해 방한했습니다.
The number of foreign tourists visiting Korea jumped 22.8% in April compared to a year earlier.
지난 4월 방한한 외래 관광객이 작년 같은 기간 대비 22.8% 증가했습니다.
Crested ibises, a bird species that went extinct 40 years ago, were reintroduced to the wild of Upo wetland just in time for World Biodiversity Day.
한반도에서 40년 전 멸종됐던 따오기가 세계 생물 다양성의 날을 맞아 경남 창녕 우포늪 하늘로 방사됐습니다. And of course, with us in the studio is Mr. Walter Foreman. Good morning, 선생님.
Good morning to you as well, and as always, a good morning to our listeners and viewers there. It's great to be back here on a Thursday morning and looking forward to going over our stories.
Yes, indeed. Our opening today was about social media and its presence in everyday life these days.
Sure.
And we really have to be careful about how we use this platform.
I think that's a big part of it. I think it is a tool, and like all tools, they can be used for either good or bad, and it really depends on the person using them.
Absolutely. Well, let's make sure it's a very friendly platform that we use.
Yeah,
social
that's
media.
good advice.
All right. Well, let's go over the headlines.
Headline number 1. Several thousand demonstrators gathered to protest the results of last month's elections in Indonesia, resulting in violent clashes between government forces and protesters.
지난달 17일 치러진 인도네시아 대선 결과에 불복하는 야권 지지자들의 시위가 폭력 사태로 번지고 있습니다.
Now, according to the most recent reports that I could find from Indonesian police, sadly, these protests have turned fatal, with the Indonesian police reporting 6 dead there in addition to 200 injured.
네, 인도네시아에서 지난달 치러진 대통령 선거 결과에 항의하는 시위로 인해서 6명이 숨졌다는 소식입니다. 어제까지 약 200명이 부상을 당했다라는 소식도 들어오고 있고요.
Now, the national police chief there has denied that his officers used live ammunition, saying that among the 6 dead, some of them had died from gunshots, while others had died from what looks to be blunt force wounds. The protesters had been throwing fireworks and rocks at police during these various standoffs, and as we talked about in the opening, social media has been restricted in some areas there to stop the spreading of rumors.
Of course, with the election last month and the results announced just a few days ago, the president, Joko Widodo, or Jokowi, has been re-elected.
That is correct. The General Election Commission there confirmed the results on Tuesday, with now re-elected President Widodo having won the presidency by taking 55.5% of the votes.
네, 인도네시아 선거관리위원회는요, 21일 공식 개표 결과를 발표했습니다. 그래서 지난달 실시된 대선에서 조코위 대통령이 8,500만 여표, 퍼센티지로는 약 55%를 얻어서 당선됐다고 밝혔는데요. 그 야권 대선 후보였던 수비안토 후보 지지자들은 엊그제 오후부터 수도 자카르타에 있는 선거관리위원회 앞에서 이번 선거는 부정선거다라고 하면서 이제 항의 시위를 벌인 겁니다. About 1,000 people gathered for this protest, and I understand for the most part it was peaceful, but then it did get violent.
That is correct. They are talking that the protests started mainly in the capital of Jakarta, which were peaceful at their beginnings, but according to reports did soon turn violent, with cars being set on fire, and as mentioned previously, fireworks or firecrackers being thrown at police.
네, 조코위 대통령은 오는 10월 취임식을 통해서 5년간의 두 번째 임기를 시작할 예정인데요. 수비안토 후보의 지지자들은 이제 조코위 대통령과 또 정부 여당이 개표를 조작했다라고 해서 이번 선거 결과를 받아들이지 않는 모습입니다. Let's go on to our second headline.
A niece of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad has had thousands of pounds confiscated from her bank account by UK investigators.
영국 당국이 바샤르 알 아사드 시리아 대통령의 친인척의 자국 내 금융 계좌를 몰수했습니다.
So I think it's important to look at how and or why this has happened. And the case here follows an investigation by the UK's National Crime Agency into several deposits, numbering well over 50 deposits that were made into this individual's account, amounting to a total of hundreds of thousands of pounds.
Indeed. 그 영국에서 지금 유학 중인 여자 조카예요. niece라고 이제 영어로는 표현이 돼 있고, 저는 헤드라인에서 이제 친인척이라고 했었는데, 22세고요. 이름이 아니세 샤우카트입니다. 그런데 영국에서 조사를 해보니까 지난 한 1년 동안의 기간 이 사이에 어마어마한 양의 돈이 영국의 그 은행 계좌에 입금이 됐어요. 그런데 학생이고 뭐 별다른 수입이 없기 때문에 의심이 가서 이제 조사를 계속 진행해 온 겁니다. 그리고 마침내 어제는 이렇게 돈을 그 은행에 들어가 있는 바클리즈 은행이거든요. 이 은행에 있는 돈을 몰수한다. 이런 발표를 했습니다.
Yes, of course, in and of itself, having money deposited into one's account is not a crime. However, given that she was a student and living quite a luxurious lifestyle, that did raise some fears by officials in the UK that these deposits were a way of circumventing EU
Right.
regulations and financial sanctions designed to restrict the use and availability of funds to the Syrian regime. For reference, over a 12-month period, more than £50,000 were deposited. That's about 75 million Korean won. And those deposits came after 56 separate transactions.
네. 그 시리아에서는 지금 참혹한 내전이 계속 진행 중인데요. 이 와중에 해외에서 시리아 관련 이렇게 친인척들, 그 고위 계층의 분들은 이제 호화 생활을 누리고 있다라는 비판이 많이 나오고 있었고요. 이에 대한 국제사회의 어떤 조치다 이렇게 또 분석이 나오는 것 같습니다. 이번에 이제 돈 세탁을 통해서 유입된 자금이라고 봤기 때문에 영국 내에 있는 바클리즈 은행의 돈이 이렇게 몰수 조치를 받게 됐습니다.
So after all was said and done, despite some very large amounts in that account, it was just a remaining sum of some £4,600 or roughly 7 million won that had been ultimately confiscated.
Okay. Let's go on to our third headline.
The government unveiled a blueprint to expand its big data solutions and R&D funding in the biohealth industry to at least 4 trillion won a year by 2025.
정부가 오는 2025년까지 바이오 빅데이터 구축과 연구개발 등에 연간 4조 원 이상으로 투자를 늘리겠다고 밝혔습니다.
So the ultimate goal here of this strategy is to make Korea a so-called global powerhouse in that biohealth sector by the year 2030. Much of that, of course, will be, as the headline mentions, based on big data as well as increases in funding, but also based on Korea's already strong prowess in the information and communications technology, which of course plays a big part in biohealth.
네, 바이오 빅데이터 또 R&D 연구개발에 이제 연간 4조 원을 투자함으로써 글로벌 수준을 육성한다는 그런 계획입니다. That of course is hopefully going to place Korea upon the top 6% by 2030, I think it is.
That is correct. The ultimate goal being looking forward to 2030, yes indeed. If all of the measures that have been spoken about are implemented as planned, South Korea's share in the global market for pharmaceuticals and medical instruments, which currently last year came in at around 1.8%, that is said to increase to 6%, as you said, by 2030.
네, 2030년까지는 세계 시장 점유율을 6%까지 늘리겠다라는 계획인데요. 작년 같은 경우는 1.8% 점유율을 보였습니다. Let's go on to our next headline.
Headline number 4. Former U.S. President George W. Bush arrived in Korea yesterday to attend a ceremony to mark the 10th anniversary of former President Nomuyen's death.
조지 W. 부시 전 미국 대통령이 고 노무현 전 대통령 10주기 추도식 참석을 위해 방한했습니다.
So former President Bush arrived in Korea via Gimpo Airport, of course, out in western Seoul. He was on a special Korean Air flight, it's been reported, and was looking rather casual, just wearing a jacket and sneakers. He did wave and acknowledge reporters, of course, but it has been reported that he did not answer any questions at that time.
네, 오늘 추도식이 열리는데요. 어제 이제 우리나라에 도착한 조지 부시 전 미국 대통령이 본인이 직접 그린 노무현 전 대통령 초상화를 가져왔다고 들었습니다.
Now, former President Bush is scheduled to meet with President Moon Jae-in at Changhwa-dae later this morning, and then, of course, head down to Gimhae for the ceremony, which is said to start at 2 p.m. It's been reported that former President Bush does plan to deliver a 5-minute eulogy before speeches by other members of Korea's political elite.
네. 고 노무현 대통령과 그다음에 조지 부시 전 미국 대통령은요. 또 1946년생 동갑이기도 하고 또 이제 대통령이었을 당시에 8차례 정상회담을 포함해서 모두 10차례 만났습니다. 그 당시에 이제 긴장감도 많이 흐르기는 했었어요. 뭐 북한 문제라든지 이런 걸 얘기를 했을 때. 하지만 그런 속에서도 이제 우위를 다졌었고 나중에 부시 대통령이 책을 냈었거든요. 이제 퇴임 후에 자서전을 썼는데 거기서 이제 노 전 대통령 서거에 대한 언급을 했습니다. 갑작스러운 죽음을 접하고 깊은 슬픔에 빠졌다라고 추억을 했습니다.
And since his retirement, former President Bush has become something of an accomplished painter, and it has been reported that President Bush brought a portrait of late President No that he himself, that's of course President Bush, had painted.
Right.
And if any of our listeners are curious as to the word I mentioned a moment ago, eulogy, a eulogy is that address that a person gives at a funeral to highlight the life and accomplishments of the deceased.
네, EULOGY 추도사인데요. 오늘 있을 추도식에서 부시 전 대통령이 추도사를 낭독할 예정입니다. Let's go on to our next headline.
Headline number 5. The number of foreign tourists visiting Korea jumped 22.8% in April compared to a year earlier.
지난 4월 방한한 외래 관광객이 작년 같은 기간 대비 22.8% 증가했습니다.
Well, that's certainly a significant increase in terms of the percentage, 22.8%. If we want to really give some perspective to this, the Korea Tourism Organization reported that 1.63 million foreigners visited Korea in April alone for the purpose of tourism.
이제 뭐 관광객들을 국가별로 한번 나눠서 볼까요? Could you break it down for us?
Yes, indeed. Among the sort of largest groups represented in that 1.6 million, Chinese nationals were the largest portion of that, with about 493,000 visitors. Japan came in second place there in terms of number of visitors at slightly more than 290,000. Taiwan and the U.S. in third and fourth, respectively, with 113,000 from Taiwan and about 102,000 from the U.S.
네, 또 증가율을만 놓고 봤을 때는 중국 관광객의 경우에는 35% 증가했는데요. 항공편이 많이 늘어나서 그런 것이다라는 분석이 나오고 있고 일본 관광객은 골든 위크로 인해서 36% 늘었습니다.
Exactly what I was going to mention. If we look at why is the case for this increase, indeed, as you mentioned, it's flights and scheduling. If we look at the percentage of increase by country, Japan actually marked the largest percentage, but by a slim margin. The increase in Japanese visitors, 35%. The increase in Chinese visitors, 34.5%. So almost the same.
All right. Well, talking about flying, let's go on to our final headline.
Headline number 6. Crested ibises, a bird species that went extinct 40 years ago, were introduced to the wild of Upo wetland just in time for World Biodiversity Day.
한반도에서 40년 전 멸종됐던 따오기가 세계 생물 다양성의 날을 맞아 경남 창녕 우포늪 하늘로 방사됐습니다.
Now, these particular birds were bred in captivity at what is known as the Crested Ibis Restoration Center. They were released, as the headline says, at the Upo wetland, and the number of birds released, I think, was significant here. 40 birds being released, perhaps to mark the 40 years since their extinction.
네, 이제 총 40마리인데요. 그중에서 어제는 10마리만 방사가 됐어요. 그래서 주최 측에서는 한꺼번에 40마리 방사는 좀 무리수가 있었고 점차적으로 좀 자연스럽게 오늘도 아마 좀 더 방사가 될 것 같고요. 이렇게 해서 총 40주년을 맞아서 40마리가 방사된다고 합니다. 1979년 한반도에서 이제 멸종된 지 40년 만이죠.
Yes, indeed, 40 years since their extinction. Currently, I'm happy to report there are actually 363 of the birds in captive breeding. But again, as we mentioned, just 40 being released at this stage. And they are, interestingly enough, designated as a Korean Natural Monument number 198.
And World Biodiversity Day and World Wetlands Day is celebrated on the 22nd of May every year in South Korea. Well, those were our headlines. And for those of you who would like to listen to just the headlines, again, you can do so because we will be providing that service. 그 앞서서 이제 헤드라인만 저희가 읽어드렸을 때 그 부분을 다시 듣고 싶어 하시는 분들이 참 많은데요. 모닝 스페셜 홈페이지 헤드라인 다시 듣기에서 무료로 들으실 수 있습니다. All right, let's remind our listeners of the quiz.
Well, our quiz this morning a little bit longer than they have been as of late, so please listen carefully, everybody. Social media services allow you to send messages, upload photos, download music, and a lot more. They also allow you to comment or answer questions. These are generally known as blank. Is it number 1, replies, or number 2, garbage flies?
All right.
A little bit of a rhyme there.
짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원에 샵 1045로 보내주시고요. 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. 추첨을 통해서 총 5분께 비타민 C 세트 보내드리겠습니다. 노래 듣고 와서 뉴스 포커스 살펴볼게요. This is Yes, singing Owner of a Lonely Heart.
Move yourself. You always live your life, never thinking of the future. Prove yourself. You are the move you make. Take your chances, win or loser. See yourself. You are the steps you take. You, and that's the only way. Shake, shake yourself. Your every move you make. So the story goes. Owner of a lonely heart. Owner of a lonely heart. Owner of a broken heart. Owner of a lonely heart. Say you don't wanna chance it. You've been hurt so before. Watch it now. Eagle in the sky, I'll be dancing one and only. You lose yourself, no, not for pity's sake. There's no real reason to be lonely. Be yourself, give your free will a chance. You've got to want to succeed. Owner of a lonely heart. Owner of a lonely heart. Owner of a broken heart. Owner of a lonely heart. Owner of a lonely heart. After my own indecision, they confuse me so. My insane love to go alone. In the end, you gotta go. Not before you leave me. Don't you hesitate at all. No, no. Owner of a lonely heart. Owner of a lonely heart. Owner of a broken heart. Owner of a lonely heart. Owner of a lonely heart. Owner of a lonely heart. Owner of a broken heart. Owner of a lonely
You're listening to Morning Special. Thank you for joining us this morning. As always, let's take a look at your messages. 주외연 님이요. 벌써 폭염주의보라니 날씨가 너무한 거 아닌가요? 라고 보내주셨습니다. 어디서 듣고 계신가요? 폭염주의보가 대구, 그 다음에는 지금 창녕, 의령, 그리고 칠곡, 경산, 영천에서 발효 중인데 너무 더워요. 그죠?
Yeah. You know, the thing is, I often learn things from our show ourselves, and one of the things that I learned is that these heat wave advisories are issued after the temperature is forecast to reach 30 degrees Celsius for at least 2 consecutive days.
네, 그렇습니다. 오늘 11시를 기해서 또 이제 폭염주의보가 발효가 될 지역들이 지금 조금 전에 이제 기상청에서 발표가 됐어요. 이제 주로 보니까 대구, 뭐 경상남도, 경상북도의 일부 지역입니다. 그쪽에서 듣고 계시는 분들 지금 날씨 어떤지 알려주시면 좋을 것 같아요. 지금 벌써부터 덥겠죠. 서울도 약간 더운 느낌이 좀 있거든요, 벌써. 근데 서울은 오늘 30도까지 오른다고 하고, 네, 경상도는 좀 더 높네요. Anyhow. 벌써 폭염주의보라니 아직도 5월밖에 안 됐는데 okay, well, I don't know how hot it's going to get this summer.
Well, let's cross our fingers and just hope for the best.
Indeed. 김지연 님이요. 어머니와 함께 매일 아침 청취하고 있어요. 국내외 주요 뉴스를 영어로 들을 수 있어서 참 좋아요. 앞으로도 좋은 방송 부탁드립니다. 모닝 스페셜 화이팅.
Well, that's a lovely message, and they always say it's good to have a study buddy. And I think in this case, if that study buddy, can be your mother, well, that's extra special.
That's wonderful. 같이 공부하는 친구가 있으면은 좀 자극이 되기도 하고 그 다음에 뭔가 좀 꾸준히 유지하는 데도 도움이 되죠.
Right, you can ask each other questions, you can use what you've learned, and you just have that, sense of strength in numbers.
네, 오늘 김지연님은 이제 모녀가 이렇게 study buddies로 함께 청취해주고 계신다고 보내주셨는데요. 정말 감사합니다. 박윤정님은요, 11년 넘게 직장 생활을 하다가요, 지금 잠시 휴직 중인데요. 이유는 바로 예쁜 아기가 찾아와서랍니다. 늘 출근길 듣던 모닝 스페셜, 집에서 따스한 햇살과 함께 모닝 주스 마시며 듣는데요. 정말 너무 행복하네요. 늘 세계를 보는 시야를 가지게 해주는 모닝 스페셜. 사랑합니다. 일단 축하드리고요.
Yes, of
네,
course. Congratulations on both the child and being able to take the time off work to look after said child.
네. 이게 모닝주스 한 잔의 여유를 좀 즐기시는 모습이 굉장히 멋있습니다. 지금 출산을 하신 건지 아니면은 이제 임신 중인지는 제가 잘 모르겠어요. 아기가 찾아왔다라고 해서 둘 다 가능성이 있을 것으로 보여지는데 어쨌든 휴식의 시간을 만끽하시길 바라겠습니다. 아샤샥이라는 아이디 쓰시는 분이요. 참 신기하죠. 매일매일 수진쌤이랑 월터쌤을 만나는데도 그 시간이 얼마나 소중한지. 이 시간이 너무 행복하답니다. 아이들을 막 보내고 저도 출근 준비하는 시간이라서 더 그럴지도 모르겠어요. 앞으로도 최소 10년은 그 자리에 계셔야 합니다. 아셨죠? 라고 보내주셨어요. 감사합니다.
네, 알겠습니다.
네, 알겠습니다. Yes, sir. All right. Well, thank you all for your messages. It's lovely. And this is the sort of atmosphere I like to see on social media. Friendly, encouraging, uplifting.
Yeah, as we said, like all tools, it's up to the person who wields that tool how they are done.
Absolutely. Well, keep sending in your messages and answers to the quiz. If you have any questions, ask away. Today, we're giving out 5 vitamin C sets in the first hour, so you could be a lucky winner of one of those. In the meantime, let's take a look at our first News Focus story. 자, 그러면 첫 번째 News Focus 살펴보겠습니다. 오늘 새벽 열린 UN 총회에서 영국령 차고스 제도를 모리셔스에 반환할 것을 요구하는 결의안이 채택됐습니다. Let's listen to the story.
The UN General Assembly has adopted a resolution calling for the UK to cede its control of the Chagos Islands back to Mauritius. For its part, the UK had been trying to persuade its allies to abstain from the vote. Earlier this year, the International Court of Justice opined that the UK should end its administration of the islands with haste. The British-controlled Chagos Islands represent one of the last vestiges of the British Empire in the Indian Ocean.
네, 오늘 새벽에 좀 따끈따끈한 소식인데요. UN 총회에서 영국령 차고스 제도를 모리셔스에 반환하라라는 내용의 이제 결의안이 채택됐습니다. Looking at the numbers here, 116 states were in favor, 6 were against, and 56 states abstained. 그래서 찬성표 116, 그리고 반대표 6개밖에 없었고요. 그 다음에는 이제 기권한 국가도 좀 많기는 했습니다만 56개국이 좀 기권을 했네요. 그래서 이제 결과적으로는 결의안이 채택됐습니다. Tell us about the Chagos Islands.
Well, the Chagos Islands are a part of what used to be belonging to Mauritius. Back several years ago, the UK took over. The UK took over that group of islands, and in addition to that, they gave part of it also to the US to form an army base there. So the story is a little bit more complex than just what we hear here in the story itself. It's a little bit bigger than that because it also involves the US and an army base there.
아, 그렇군요. 1968년도 모리셔스가 영국으로부터 독립했는데요. 그 이제 3년 전인 1965년에 영국은 이 차고스 제도를 모리셔스로부터 분리를 했습니다. 그래서 이제 모리셔스는 우리 땅이다라고 수십 년 동안 계속 주장을 하고 있고요. 영국은 아니다라고 얘기를 해왔었는데 말씀해 주신 대로 여기는 뭐 미군 기지까지 들어섰을 정도로 좀 복잡한 그런 관계가 있습니다. 어쨌거나 이번에 유엔에서는 돌려줘라 라는 그런 판결이 나왔는데요. The UN General Assembly has adopted a resolution calling for the UK to cede its control of the Chagos Islands.
Yeah, an interesting word here. Seed is spelled C-E-D-E. So it's not the seed that we might think of as a pumpkin seed or a sunflower seed or the type of seed that we can eat or plant. But here seed, again, C-E-D-E, means to relinquish. And it's usually associated with things like land or power. And it also has a connotation of either being forced to do that or at the very least not wanting to do it, sort of doing it begrudgingly.
네, 여기서 cede, C-E-D-E는 이양하다, 양도하다라는 의미가 있는데요. control을 이양하는 것이니까 반환하라라는 의미로 이해를 할 수 있겠습니다. 이게 문제가 되는 이유는 뭐냐면은 모리셔스의 입장에서 봤을 때는 국제사법재판소 ICJ에서 이제 영국이 불법적으로 차고스 제도를 분할했다라는 그 판결이 또 나온 적이 있거든요. 그렇기 때문에 지배권을 포기해야 한다라는 그런 얘기를 한 것입니다. For its part, the UK had been trying to persuade its allies to abstain from the vote.
And so we'll look at that word abstain. And this is kind of a breaking news because the actual vote happened, I think, overnight. As
Just a few hours ago.
Yes, as we were coming in. And so I was jotting down the votes that you were reading out.
Okay.
But my apologies if my pen was too loud. The reason I was jotting down those numbers is I wanted to know how many people abstained, and it was 56, as
including
you said.
France and Germany.
And we'll look at the meaning there. To abstain means, in this case, to formally decline from a vote. So, of course, as we said, 56 countries declined to vote in this resolution. That is, meaning that they abstained. In a more general sense, abstain just means not to do anything. So there are some religions that ask its followers to abstain from eating meat at certain times of the year. Some people might abstain from drinking temporarily to boost their health. So in a very general sense, it means just not to do something.
네, 기권하다라는 의미인데요. 영국은 그동안에 이제 기권을 좀 해달라라고 여러 멤버 스테이트들에게 주장을 좀 하고 부탁을 하고 그러는 모습이었는데 실제로 기권을 많이 하기는 했습니다. 56개국이 기권했으니까요. 그렇지만 116개국은 또 찬성표를 던져서 네, 그래서 채택이 된 겁니다. Earlier this year, the ICJ, the International Court of Justice, opined that the UK should end its administration of the islands with haste.
Right, so we'll look at that word, opine, or in the past tense, opined. So that's O-P-I-N-E-D. And if our listeners hear that word, opine, or if they see it, they might get a feeling of the word opinion. And that's really where it comes from. So to opine means to express your opinion.
아, 어떤 의견을 제시하다라는 뜻으로 이해를 하면 될까요? opine. 의견을 밝히다라는 뜻인데 ICJ가 영국에게 차고스 제도를 반환해라라는 그런 의견을 제시했다. 그렇게 보면 되겠습니다. 근데 영국이 이 ICJ의 판결을 거부했거든요.
And I think the reason that opine is the appropriate word here is because it really is just the ICJ's opinion. It wasn't a legally binding decision.
Right, indeed. Okay, let's listen to this story one more time.
The UN General Assembly has adopted a resolution calling for the UK to cede its control of the Chagos Islands back to Mauritius. For its part, the UK had been trying to persuade its allies to abstain from the vote. Earlier this year, the International Court of Justice opined that the UK should end its administration of the islands with haste. The British-controlled Chagos Islands represent one of the last vestiges of the British Empire in the Indian Ocean.
자, 두 번째 뉴스 포커스 살펴볼게요. 2017년 기준으로 여전히 전 세계 인구 10명 중 1명 이상이 전기 없이 생활하고 있다는 국제에너지기구, 세계은행, 그리고 세계보건기구의 공동 보고서가 나왔습니다. Let's listen to the story.
More than 1 in 10 people around the world still live without electricity, according to a recent report from the International Energy Agency, the World Bank, and the World Health Organization. While many regions are gaining access to electricity at a faster pace, the prospects for many African countries remain bleak. In particular, sub-Saharan Africa is especially problematic, with just 44% of people in 2017 having access to electricity. The report also looked at so-called clean cooking, which is said to be vital to improving health by reducing smoke indoors.
네, 여전히 전 세계 인구 10명 중에 1명이 전기 없이 생활을 한다고 하고요. 이 IEA 그리고 WHO, World Bank의 공동 보고서에 따르면은 아프리카는 특히 이제 전기 보급 속도가 더디다고 합니다. More than 1 in 10 around the world still live without electricity. And while many regions are gaining access to electricity at a faster pace, the prospects for many African countries remain bleak.
So we'll first look at that word prospects. On its surface, it might look like the brand of a Korean running shoe or sneaker, but it is indeed not that. Here, prospects means chances or opportunities for success. And a great example sentence I can give, getting more education will increase your job prospects.
네, 전망을 뜻합니다. 근데 아까 말씀하신 그 브랜드 이름은 사실 스펠링이 좀 달라요. 발음은 굉장히 비슷하지만 네, 살짝 다른 걸로 제가 알고 있고요. 강세도 좀 다르고. Anyhow, prospect 그러면은 어떤 이제 내다보는 그 전망을 말하고 있습니다. 근데 그게 bleak하다라고 써 있거든요.
Yeah, let's look at that final word of the sentence, bleak. If something is bleak, it is not hopeful or it is not encouraging. It is unlikely to have a favorable or desirable outcome. An example sentence I could give from sports is, the team was losing by a score of 10-3 and their star player was injured. The situation looked bleak.
bleak라는 거는 원래 좀 암울한 아니면은 뭐 절망적인 이런 뜻이 있어요. 그래서 prospect 아니면 뭐 뭔가 내다볼 때 bleak하다라고 할 때는 그 전망치 아니면 뭐 내다본 가능성이 낮다, 좋지 않다라는 그런 얘기고요. 여기서는 이제 전기 보급 얘기를 하면서 앞으로도 전기가 뭐 이렇게 다 보급이 되기보다는 여전히 그냥 더디게 보급될 것이다라고 이해를 하면 될 것 같습니다. In particular, sub-Saharan Africa is especially problematic.
And that word problematic describes something that, as you might imagine, poses a problem or causes difficulties. So if we imagine somebody who really wants to become a veterinarian, but that person is allergic to animals, well, that's a bit problematic, isn't it?
It is indeed. 문제가 된다라는 뜻이 있고요. The report also looked at so-called clean cooking, which is said to be vital to improving health by reducing smoke indoors.
And we'll close it out by looking at that word vital, V-I-T-A-L. If something is vital, well, it's absolutely necessary or it's very, very important. Another word we could use would be essential. And the example I will give in this case, when learning a second language, perseverance is vital.
필수적이다라는 뜻의 vital이 쓰였습니다. 우리가 이제 신체의 주요 기관 얘기할 때도 vital organs of the body 이런 표현을 쓰죠. Okay, let's listen to this story one more time.
More than 1 in 10 people around the world still live without electricity, according to a recent report from the International Energy Agency, the World Bank, and the World Health Organization. While many regions are gaining access to electricity at a faster pace, the prospects for many African countries remain bleak. In particular, sub-Saharan Africa is especially problematic, with just 44% of people in 2017 having access to electricity. The report also looked at so-called clean cooking, which is said to be vital to improving health by reducing smoke indoors.
Let's remind our listeners once again of the quiz.
Yes, indeed, our quiz is a little bit longer than usual, so I think another reminder is in order. Social media services allow you to send messages, upload photos, download music, etc. They also allow you to comment or answer questions. These are generally known as blank. Is it number 1, replies, or number 2, garbage flies?
짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원에 샵 1045로 보내주시고요. 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. 추첨을 통해서 총 5분께 비타민 C 세트 보내드리겠습니다. 노래 듣고 와서 News Focus 3 살펴볼게요. This is Boston with Amanda.
Tomorrow's so far away. There's something I just have to say. I don't think I could hide what I'm feeling inside. Another day, knowing I love you. And I'm getting too close again. I don't wanna see it end. If I tell you tonight, would you turn on the lights, walk away, knowing I love you? I'm gonna take you by surprise and make you realize, Amanda. I'm gonna tell you right away, I can't wait another day, Amanda. I'm gonna say it like a man and make you understand, Amanda. I love you. I feel like today's the day, looking for the words to say. Do you wanna be free? Are you ready for me to feel this way? I don't wanna lose you. So, it may be too soon, I know. The feeling takes so long to grow.
to say I'm in love with you.
자, 세 번째 뉴스 포커스 살펴볼게요. 애플 아이폰의 시리, 아마존의 알렉사와 같은 일명 AI 비서들은 대부분 여성의 목소리를 가졌죠. 유네스코가 이렇게 여성의 목소리로 작동하는 AI 비서들이 성적 편견을 부추기고 가부장제를 강화하고 있다고 지적했습니다. Let's listen to the story.
The female gender assigned to so-called digital assistants in smart devices allegedly entrenches gender bias, according to a recent UNESCO study. The study suggests that the assistant's submissive responses reinforce the idea that women are subservient. Online petitions in late 2017 led programmers to eliminate some of the assistant's most excessively apologetic or flirtatious responses. UNESCO has called for changes, including exploring the feasibility of developing a neutral gender specifically for machines.
네, 여기 기사에도 나왔지만 유네스코에서는 이제 보다 더 중립적인 목소리를 가진 AI를 개발해야 될 것이다라고 권고를 했습니다. The female gender assigned to so-called digital assistants in smart devices allegedly entrenches gender bias.
So we'll look at that word, to entrench. Now, when something becomes entrenched, it is firmly established so that it's difficult to change. An example sentence I could give: the things that we learn as children
Yep.
often become entrenched in our personalities and continue into adulthood.
That is absolutely true. 자리 잡게 하다라는 뜻의 entrench가 여기서 쓰였습니다. 그래서 우리말 속담에도 세 살 버릇 여든 간다라는 얘기가 있죠. Because these things that we learn as a baby, as a kid, they become entrenched.
And once you hit around 40 years of age, you
Yep.
really start to feel it. You're like, oh, that's something my dad would say.
All right. Well, of course, they're talking about gender bias here because a lot of the AI voices are female voices and they sound very feminine and kind and even subservient.
Yes, and that's really one of the big issues here, so we should look at that word, subservient. Subservient means willing to do what other people want or considering your personal wishes as less important than those of other people. An example I could give, I think actually this sentence appeared in news relating to the Boeing incident with their airplanes.
Okay.
Critics say the Federal Aviation Agency remains subservient to the airline industry.
네, subservient라고 하면은 이제 뭔가 이렇게 복종적인 이런 느낌이 있어요. sub라는 단어도 있고 여기 servant의 어원인 그게 serve도 여기 나와 있고요. 그래서 그런 의미가 있습니다. 물론 어떤 때는 뭐 부차적이다라는 의미로도 뉴스에서 쓰이지만 여기서는 이제 좀 여성의 목소리가 굉장히 섬기려고 하는 그런 뉘앙스가 있다라는 거죠.
A word that we'll often hear as well in place of subservient might be submissive, which follows that same pattern, as well as deferential would be another word, but I think submissive is probably one of the more common.
Okay. And online petitions in late 2017 led programmers to eliminate some of the assistant's most excessively apologetic or flirtatious responses.
Right, so it's not only being subservient, but there's also the nature of being flirtatious. And we'll look at that word, flirtatious. That means behaving in such a way as to suggest a playful, physical attraction to someone. And that can come across in your body language, but also just in your spoken language, in your tone of voice as well.
보통 이제 flirt 하다라고 하면은 뭐 추파를 던지다 아니면은 시체말로 뭐 꽃이다 막 이런 거거든요. 그런데 그러한 뭐 voice tone 목소리가 좀 그렇게 들리는 것들이 있었고 그런 이제 대답들이 있었대요. 예전에 프로그램에는 그런 걸 많이 없앴다라는 내용이고요. 그래도 이제 더 나아가서 유네스코에서는 그런 문장만 없애지 말고 목소리 자체를 바꿔라라는 겁니다. UNESCO has called for changes including exploring the feasibility of developing a neutral gender specifically for machines.
So we'll look at that word, feasibility. Feasibility describes the capacity of something being done,
Yep.
but especially being done in a way that is easy or convenient. So it's not exactly a possibility, but it's how easy that possibility could come true. Walking from Seoul to Busan is possible, but it's not really feasible. Although, of course, people have done it, it's not really that feasible.
실행 가능성을 뜻하는 feasibility가 여기서 쓰였습니다. 중립적인 목소리를 가진 그런 AI를 개발하는 게 실행 가능한지 조금 더 알아볼 필요가 있다라고 이렇게 권고를 한 겁니다. Let's listen to this story one more time.
The female gender assigned to so-called digital assistants in smart devices allegedly entrenches gender bias, according to a recent UNESCO study. The study suggests that the assistant's submissive responses reinforce the idea that women are subservient. Online petitions in late 2017 led programmers to eliminate some of the assistant's most excessively apologetic or flirtatious responses. UNESCO has called for changes, including exploring the feasibility of developing a neutral gender specifically for machines.
And what's the answer to the quiz?
Well, our quiz today, I hope all of our listeners know, is number 1, replies.
Indeed. 1번 정답 맞춰주신 분 5분 추첨했습니다. 신덕상님, 백만호님, 안수키님, 그리고 심응보님과 joyful이라는 아이디 쓰시는 분 축하드립니다. 비타민 C 세트 보내드릴게요. 자, 오늘의 표현 살펴볼 시간입니다.
Let's go back again to News Focus 2, and I'd like to review the word vital.
Vital.
If something is vital, it is absolutely necessary. It is absolutely important. It is essential. The example I gave previously is that when learning a second language, perseverance is vital. We might also hear that word in the news, especially some significant news. We might hear something like, these matters are vital to national defense.
네, 필수적이다라는 뜻의 vital 오늘의 표현입니다. Mutual respect is vital in this day and age of social media. And so I want to say thank you to all of our respectable and respected listeners out there. And of course, you as well. Thank you so much for that.
It's always a pleasure, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Absolutely. 끝번호 4154 쓰시는 분이요. 질문이 있습니다. 일전에 소개한 노래 Wind Beneath My Wings의 가사 중에 You were the one with all the strength라고 말씀하셨는데 가사를 찾아보니까 strain이라고 써있는 곳도 있더라고요. 듣기에도 그렇게 들리는데 어떤 게 맞나요? 라고 보내주셨어요. 저도 사실 노래를 다시 들어봐야 알겠는데 저는 You are the one with all the strength로 알고 있긴 했거든요. 왜냐면 가사 내용이 뭐냐면은 날아다니는 것은 나고 화려한 것은 나지만 그걸 뒷받침해주고 도와준 것은 당신이다라는 그 내용이에요. 그래서 나는 건 나지만 힘을 준 것은 당신이다. 저는 이렇게 이해를 해서 아마 strength인 것 같은데 가사만 봤을 때는요. 제가 조금 후에 노래 한번 또 다시 들어보겠습니다. 그리고 다시 말씀드릴게요. 안수키님은요. 오늘도 출근하는 시내버스 안에서 잘 듣고 있어요. 며칠 동안 몸이 아파서 좀 고생했는데요. 오늘은 그나마 몸이 좀 나아졌습니다. 하셨습니다. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Let's go to hour 2. 2부로 넘어갈게요. This is Celine Dion, I'm Alive.